Serving their community is who they are because they love where they live. REMAX 3D Real Estate is proud to bring you Heart of Royse City, a video series dedicated to celebrating all the wonderfully great things about Royse City, Texas. On every episode, Dennisha Thacker will share Royse City's story through the stories of the people who call Royse City home. This is Heart of Royse City.
Thank you for watching Heart of Royse City. I asked Linda Campbell to come on the show because she is a busy little bee and is all over this community, and she has so many things to share, not only about her business, but also about this wonderful community. I hope you enjoy my conversation. Here it is with Linda Campbell. Hey y'all, I'm Dennisha Thacker, your host of Heart of Royse City, and today we're sitting down at REMAX 3D Real Estate here in Royse City, and our guest is Miss Linda Campbell, who is an interior designer, and I can't wait for you to meet her. Linda, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing, Dennisha?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, I want everyone to hear your story, so we're going to move the mic up just a little bit.
How's that?
That's perfect. Okay. Well, I recently have gotten to know you just from attending the different chamber events, and you seem to be everywhere. You're all over the place.
Yeah, I am.
You're like a little social butterfly.
A social butterfly, a working social butterfly. How's that? Just like you.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I'm never surprised when I look up and I'm like, oh, there's Linda. She's here.
Yeah.
So, well, let's talk about your interior design. I know we talked a little bit off camera a minute ago, and you have such a passion for what you do. So
I do. I love what I do.
I would love for people to get to know a little bit about what you do, but then I want to talk about you and let people get to know you.
Okay. Well, like you said, I'm an interior designer. I really specialize mostly in floor covering and window treatments. I do everything, but a path has taken me that way because I can broker floor covering and window treatments. So that means I've got a competitive price, those kind of things. What I just really love about doing interior design, I love helping people make their dream home come true. I do work with realtors and things like that for helping people get their homes ready to sell, those kinds of things. So, I mean, I am passionate about what I do. And every job is different. Every single one is different.
That has to be so exciting.
That is exciting.
It's never a dull moment in your life.
There's never a dull moment.
And you make it sound so flawless, like we do this and we do that. And anyone who's done construction, they know it's not always an easy path to renovate your home or stage it and get it ready to sell. Well,
and during these times of COVID, it's been a real challenge because of, shipments, the price of products going up, everything. So it's been a challenge, but it hasn't been a challenge that you can't overcome.
I love that. That's such a great attitude to have about that. Where there's a will, there's a way, right?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Well, tell me, where did that passion for interior design come from?
Well, actually, I started studying it in school. Yeah, that's where it came from. I really always thought I was going to do fashion merchandising, something like that. But once I got into school and started taking some classes and things like that, I thought, this is what I like to do. And I just love space and creating within a space. I love doing that. And I can't walk into a room and just see one part of the room. It's like I see everything all at once.
Really?
And that's fun. I mean, that's fun for me.
Do you sit down with your clients and kind of get their vision
Absolutely, absolutely. Because what I try to do is, like I said, I want it to be their dream home. I want their vision to become reality. And so, yes, it's not about me, it's about them.
Is that hard sometimes? Because, sometimes what someone has in their mind and then what they really want are different.
I don't say that it's hard. Sometimes that is a challenge when some people can't visualize. Sometimes that creates a little bit of a challenge, but that's all. You're able to overcome that. I think the easiest way for me to work with somebody is to learn their lifestyle first, because what they're envisioning applies to their lifestyle. So if you can work within that parameter, you can figure out what their vision is.
I love that. How do you figure out their lifestyle?
Questions.
Okay.
You observe while you're in there. You meet the kids. You meet the pets, especially the pets. That's a real big one. But you sit down and you kind of have that conversation and talk about where they see themselves in that house. Are they going to be there for 5 years, 10 years? If their lifestyle, do they have a lot of people in and out of the house? Like my daughter's got 6 boys. That house is full all the time. So when we remodeled her house, that was the big consideration, right? So it's about lifestyle. Sometimes when you have older clients that are, that they're needing to make some changes in their home, falling issues, things like that, then that takes you a different direction. So it's really not that. It sounds like it might be hard to do, but it's really not. It's a matter of listening.
I was going to say a lot of intent listening.
Yes.
How do you feel about Pinterest? Because we all tend to get on Pinterest and pin all the things we love.
Hey, listen, I see some great things that I love on Pinterest. Some of it's not available, like it looks like it is. You have to do some digging to go beyond that. But I encourage people to look at Pinterest and show me things that they really like. Some of the things they like won't fit in their space, that kind of thing. But then we can discuss why it won't fit into their space. So that's all a part of gathering that information to learn their lifestyle and their dream and all that kind of stuff. So
how is it working on the budget side of things? Because I know for me, I can find all these things I love and want.
Right.
But then when you put the budget together,
that's right.
It doesn't always
that's
fit.
Usually one of the first things I ask them, do you have a budget? And if there's a budget and it's a real strict budget in place, we may do a long-term plan and start, and gradually. And I do that a lot, quite honestly. I'll have clients where we'll start with flooring and paint, and then down the road, then we'll go in and redo the kitchen, the countertops, the paint and cabinets, and all that kind of stuff. So it may be a progress, and that's fine with me.
That's fun.
Yeah.
How's it working with spouses or when you have multiple people involved in making a decision?
It hasn't been too bad. I can remember when I first started out, and for a long time I did more commercial than I did residential. And that was why, because I did have one client when I was first starting out, and they kind of burned me on the home stuff, because every place we go, everything we go to look at, they would get in these major knockdown, drag-out fights.
Oh, no.
And I thought, I don't know whether I can do this, but that's very rare, and I learned from that experience. But it's usually not that big a deal. It just really isn't.
Can you talk about what your favorite project is that you've ever done? Commercial or residential, just over the course of your career. And how many years have you been doing this now?
I've been doing, I don't want to tell you.
Okay.
A long time.
A long time. Got it.
A long time. Off and on since school.
Okay.
Yeah. There's probably 2 of them. When I was living in Oklahoma City, I completely redid the Westinghouse plant there. We did not only the plant, but we did all the offices and from the ground up, new furniture and everything like that. That was exciting. Probably one of the reasons that's so memorable for me is that when I went to make that presentation, so I had all my boards and everything like that, and I remember getting there, going upstairs to the boardroom, and then I don't remember anything. I left there, and I drove home, and I don't even remember going home. I ended up with 104 fever when I got home, and they put me in the hospital. And
Bless your heart.
I know. The next morning, my manager called me and said, "Hey, you got the job." So
the one you don't remember presenting?
I don't remember, but that was a very memorable job. The other one I think that was really, really fun for me was designing the Indianapolis Athletic Club, and we redid that.
Oh.
When I lived there. That was
Wow.
fun. That was
How big of a
challenge.
project was that?
It was about 5 or 6 months to redo that.
To complete that? That's
To
a
complete that.
long time.
Yeah, but it was fun.
Oh, wow.
It was
Now,
so
you've
fun.
mentioned a couple of different places, so it sounds like you've moved around a lot.
Actually, I grew up in Cincinnati.
Okay.
And then I went to school in Missouri. My parents, while I was in college, retired to Florida, so I was back and forth there some during college. When I graduated, I started working in St. Louis. I went to school in Missouri. I started working out in St. Louis, and then I went to Oklahoma City. I was there for about 4 years. And from there, I was transferred to Indianapolis, and we lived there for about 5 years, and we've been here ever since.
Oh, wow. So were you working for larger firms then?
Well, I did some independent, freelance design work during that time too. I worked for Sherwin-Williams for a while. I worked as a commercial rep, and I started out in a store and then went to a commercial rep, and then I was in a program. That's what transferred me to Indianapolis, where they had 5 what they called Decorating World stores. They were 10,000 square foot stores. I started a builder program for them, and so from there I went back to doing some freelance, and I've been doing that ever since.
So do you like the freelance then, what you do now?
I do. I do. I like it. I like it a lot. There's a lot of freedom in that.
And was that scary to jump off and decide to
Well, I think
do
I've been
freelance?
doing it for so long, no.
You don't remember being scared about it?
No, I think it's just a matter of getting your sources. You get your contractors that you're good with, and your suppliers that you're good with. And then, I say probably 95% of any job are your installers. Mm-hmm. So getting those installers and keeping them happy is part of the key.
Absolutely. Those relationships, they'll make or break you.
Yes, they do. Like I said, 95% of my job, because it doesn't matter how much they like the product, if you have installation problems or you have problems, then, it just ruins everything. So
I like what you said off camera earlier. You said they're my work husbands.
My work husbands, that's exactly right.
That's great because then you know how to work together.
Yes.
And then they know what to expect from you. You know what to expect from them.
Exactly.
And I know for me sitting here talking to you, it's like I would be so comfortable with you taking on a project because I know you're going to manage all that for me.
Right.
So I love that. I've enjoyed getting to know more about what you do.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about you personally. What are some of your hobbies or things that you love to do? It sounds like you kind of dive into work and you love it and passionate about it.
And I work long hours.
I bet.
Just like you. I love to read, so when I have any free time that I can sneak off with a book, I like to do that.
What kind of books?
Everything. I like everything. And of course, every day I try to read my Bible and do some scripture, that kind of thing. I'm in the Word.
Mm-hmm. We have to refuel ourselves.
Yes, I love mysteries. I like reading mysteries. I like some of the contemporary, books that are out there. I like those, and I love self-help books. I love sales books, that kind of stuff. That's always fun to do and read. And then I used to sew. I don't have time to do that anymore, but when my kids were growing up, I used to make all their clothes and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
so that was a hobby for a long time, but that takes a lot of time.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So I don't do that too much anymore. I'm active in the community. I love volunteering, and like I said, I've got 9 grandkids. So,
9 grandchildren.
Yeah, 9 grandkids.
So what are their age ranges?
They range from about a year and a half all the way to 21.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That makes Christmas fun, I bet.
Oh, it does make Christmas fun. Thanksgiving fun, because we all try to get together. My son lives in Kansas with his 3 kids, his wife and 3 kids. He used to live just a block away from me, so that used to be a lot more handy. But, business takes you different places, right?
It does. Sometimes I think, though, when your family lives far away, you're more intentional about your time together.
Well, that's true.
And
that
so
is
you
true.
have quality time.
Yeah.
And I think we take advantage sometimes when they live close by that, we'll see them tomorrow or the next week. And we aren't as intentional about spending time with them.
Yeah, that's right. Well, my daughter just lives 5 minutes away from me. She lives here in Royse City.
Oh.
And, of course, with all those boys, there's never a dull moment. Always something to do family-wise.
Yes.
So,
yes.
yeah.
They probably keep you hopping, too.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Well, let's talk about some of the community things you do, because you do so much in the community. So what are some of the things that you're involved in?
Well, I'm active in the chamber. I'm an ambassador in the chamber, and I love that. I get to meet everybody that way, right?
Yes.
I have just recently, we've just finished up the bond steering committee. Now we're putting that plan into action, so that'll be on the ballot in May. Early voting starts April 19th.
Oh.
So keep that in mind, and that is not an increase in taxes.
That's good to know.
But as you know, the community is really growing.
Mm-hmm.
I think, what is it, you know this probably better than I do, like 14,000 new homes
It's
be on the market.
incredible
It
what's
is.
coming.
And
what's
we
already
still
going
got
up.
still have that small town, hometown feeling. But with all of that, the growth in the schools is going to just explode. There are just things that need to be done. And
Can you talk about a little bit what's on the bond?
It's a whole list of things. It's going to include some more elementary schools, middle schools. It's going to involve an expansion in the high school, which is really needed. So it's a whole bunch of things.
How was it serving on that board?
Oh, it was very enlightening. It's the first time I've ever been on a bond steering committee, and I learned so much. But I tell you what, this community and Kevin Worthy are just amazing.
He's an incredible
Amazing.
leader.
He is,
for the
and
school
I
district.
tell you what, we are so fortunate to have him in the school district. And which is why I agreed to serve on that committee, because I just really believe in the school district. I really do. And the teachers, I mean, after having that many kids in and out of the school and things like that, I've gotten to know a lot of teachers. I've gotten to know coaches. I've, gotten to know Kevin pretty well, and it's just awesome. It's a passion for me. That their schooling is a passion for me.
I can see that. I can
Yeah.
see it in your eyes. It's
Yeah,
a passion.
I love it.
What is something that you love that's changed in the school district over all of these years? What's one thing that just makes your heart so happy to see that's different
Kevin
now?
Worthy.
Oh, that's a huge
Yeah,
compliment.
that's a huge compliment
to Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Worthy.
He was on our show recently too, so I
was he?
got
There
to
you
know
go.
him
Oh,
as
yes.
well, and
Yeah.
and just his heart for the teachers and for the students and for the
Yes.
community. And
Yes, he fights for the teachers. He really does, and for the students. I mean, he's there for everybody. How he manages to be all the different places he is at one time, I don't know, but
which
he's
is
an
saying
awesome
a lot
man.
from you, who you're at everything all the time too.
Yeah, it's a little different though when you're dealing with adults and kids and doing all that stuff. But yeah, Kevin Worthy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the other things that you're involved in?
I'm on the board for Paw Packs. Are you familiar with that program?
Tell me about that program.
Paw Packs, we started that, and it's through Linda Burke and Associates. We do some other things in the community too, like I remember we had to replace some windows in a church because their church windows got vandalized, things like that. We've done things for the local firefighters and the police station and things like that when we, projects arise like that. But the main focus for the last few years has been Paw Packs. And what that is, we've got a pretty good number of students that are on the meal programs, the financial aid for the meal programs and stuff like that, and which is great while they're at school, right? They get their meals. But on the weekends or holidays, over vacations and things like that, they may not have anything to eat or may not have anybody there to help them prepare the food. So what we do, and we've got so many different people in the community, different organizations, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, that will come and help us pack these packs up. But we raise money through the community and we get donations. You can go to Linda Burke and Associates to look at the kinds of things that we do need donated. And then every week we send home on Friday a bag of different food items that they'll have. There's breakfast and then lunches and dinners for that weekend. And they have to be things that the kids can kind of do themselves. Mm-hmm. We try to put one thing at least one that'll be a hot meal, but other meals too. And then some snacks, for the kids. So, and it's made a big difference. We also, if we get calls from the teachers, we don't know who the students are, which is, I like it being that way. We do it through the counselors at school. And if teachers see a need for coats, like we just had a need for some coats, sometimes it's shoes, sometimes, whatever. We also do some things, several times a year where we provide them toothbrushes and toothpaste, some hygiene items and things like that. So, and several local dentists have donated to that, So
So this is like
It's a
a
good thing.
year-round project.
It's a year-round project. Normally, we haven't done summers before. We're doing more different things, like, through COVID and things like that. We stepped up and did things a little different.
Okay.
For a while.
Did you deliver those into the homes?
No,
or you...
we cannot deliver into the
Okay.
homes. So for a while, it took a while to figure out how we were going to even do anything. And so for a few months, we kind of didn't get to do
Weren't
what we
able to
needed
do
to do,
that.
and it just breaks your heart knowing that those same kids are
Right.
without.
They're without during
They're
that
without.
time.
Mhm.
So when you give them, is it a backpack that they get, or how do you pack it for them?
We started out with a backpack, but we were getting some backpacks back with, that smelled like smoke or
Which are hard to
had some
recycle back
things.
in.
Yeah, so we use bags now.
Okay.
We use bags.
Like disposable.
Yeah,
type
disposable kind of bags that they can just throw away, and they're nondescript. It doesn't say paw packs
Right.
or advertised, so most of the time other people wouldn't even know. They'd think that they're
It's like a
carrying
gift
a
bag.
bag. Yeah.
Yeah. So how is that funded?
It's funded strictly through donations,
Okay.
and all donations are 100% used. The board, everything is volunteer. Everything we do is volunteer. So every single penny, every single item that is donated is completely given to the kids.
That's awesome. That's such
Yeah.
a wonderful program.
It is.
It's unfortunate that our children need that,
Yes.
but it's such a blessing that you have it there to
Absolutely.
give to them. And
Absolutely.
it even be more than just food, doing the coats and the shoes and,
Right.
and those sorts of things.
Different things. So we've even had requests for extra school supplies, things like that. And wherever we can, we step up and do it.
So what made you get involved with that?
I have a heart for kids.
Yes.
I have a heart for kids. I guess all those grandkids prepared me for that,
Yeah.
right? No, the community, there's so many needs for kids out there that, and the child advocacy program that's local, there's so much need for
Right.
help out there.
Right.
So
Well,
that's-
I love your heart for service.
yeah, thank you.
So we're on Heart of Royse City, and so I always like to take a few minutes and talk about what you love about Royse City, and we've kind of been talking about that while we're sitting here.
Yeah.
But let's really talk about what do you love about Royse City?
I love everything about Royse City. Where do I start? The people are so great here. I love the fact that it is a community, and you can sense that community. You can become a part of that community in any way that you want to do it. All the different businesses that are in the chamber, those kinds of things, they become lifelong friends. It's not like, hey, good to see you, that kind of thing. We support each other, and that's one of the things I love about this community. As you know, during COVID, the businesses just really struggled, but everybody stepped up. Even if you didn't usually eat out during the week, you were going in and picking up food, to keep the local restaurants open, that kind of thing. And, to me, that's like family. And I think that's what I love about Royse City. You feel like a family, and everybody helps each other.
I can see that, and
Yeah.
I can feel that. Just with us opening our office here, everyone has been with open arms and
Yes.
welcomed us into the community. And,
Absolutely.
And, because it was a small town, sometimes you're afraid, okay, it's a small town. Are there going to be a lot of cliques? Is it going to be open? But I found this community to be very open.
It is very open, and you don't find the cliques. And you're right, that normally happens, when you come in as a new business. But I was embraced, when we moved here, I was embraced just open arms, and that makes you want to be a part of the community and
Yes.
serve the community. And so, it's that family feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. And I can just see your eyes light up when you
Yeah.
talk about Royse City.
I
and,
do love Royse City.
And even though you've lived in several other places, I can see your heart
Oh,
is
yeah.
here.
Well, and before we moved here, when we first moved to Dallas, we lived in North Dallas. Then we lived in Plano. Then we lived in McKinney. And we came this way because my daughter had moved out here, and we were spending, burning up the roads back and forth from McKinney to all the different ball games and things like that. And it didn't matter where I officed. It didn't matter where my husband officed. So we said, well, let's try it. And one of the best decisions we ever made. I mean, I just love this community.
So shout out to your daughter.
Yeah.
She's how you got here.
That's right. Exactly. She is the reason.
Oh, I love that story.
Yeah.
It always comes back to family.
It does.
It seems like a lot of times
It does.
comes back to being close to your family and spending time with them.
That's right.
Well, before we got started, I asked you to pick a number, and that was quite comical. So we finally settled on the number 12.
Right.
So let's talk about what number 12 is.
Okay.
Number 12 is what has been the most difficult challenge so far in your life?
I think the most difficult thing that I've ever gone through was when I had a miscarriage.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I had a miscarriage when I was 5.5 months pregnant, and that was probably the biggest thing that I had to overcome. That was very, and of course I already had my daughter, and then I had the miscarriage. A little bit later, I had my son. So, but that was hard for me.
I
That
can't
was very hard.
imagine.
Yeah, and that's another reason I think why I bond with kids, and I like working with the Children's Advocacy Center and things like that and I volunteered before for abused women because, once you've been through something like that, you really understand what it is to lose, to lose something.
So how did you get through that?
God. God just got me through it. Spent a lot of time, praying and things like that. And I had a very supportive family. My husband's folks lived in East Texas at the time, and they came and helped out. And my mother-in-law was so awesome. She was my soulmate.
Oh.
She was really my soulmate.
I've never heard anyone say their mother-in-law was their soulmate.
She
That
was
is
my
so
soulmate.
Sweet.
She was my soulmate. So she was a big help to me being local because my parents lived in Florida at the time. So as a matter of fact, that's where I had the miscarriage, was when I was visiting my parents.
Oh, no.
So, but, supportive family, supportive friends, and Jesus Christ.
Yeah, absolutely. And he can get us through anything.
Everything.
Yes.
Yeah. But that was probably the most challenging thing I've ever dealt with.
So how did you get your final piece? Did God finally give you that piece about
yes.
it and
Yes.
let you know you have a baby waiting for you in heaven
Exactly.
one day?
Exactly. I know that we'll meet face to face one day.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. That is
Yes.
not an easy thing to share.
Well,
and
but there are other people out there that go through the same thing, so I don't mind sharing that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
And I think God gives us those things in our life, those journeys, so that we can help other people
Absolutely.
that go through it. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much. Well,
You
Linda,
bet.
I have really enjoyed getting to know you.
I enjoyed it too.
I
Thank
see you around town and I see you at different events, but now when I see you, I'm going to hug your neck and know even more about you. And
Thank
I look
you.
forward to serving even more with you.
Thank you. Me too.
And thank you for coming on Heart of Royse City.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you for watching Heart of Royse City. This video series, which is designed to celebrate Royse City, Texas, is spearheaded by REMAX 3D Real Estate.